He founded liquor.com, or really kind of pivoted to liquor.com. They're doing, taking, on a good month, $100,000 to the bottom line, 3 million impressions per month. They're really doing better during the holiday season, potentially selling right now, maybe at a good deal, maybe holding on to it because it's making them money. He's also gotten into a book, which you want to check out. We'll link to that in the show notes. And then additionally, again, check out newmediasummit.net, newmediasummit.net. He's got icons on stage. This is great if you're trying to do a big podcast tour. You can meet all these folks in one spot. This is episode 720. Coming up tomorrow morning, you'll learn from Owen, who breaks down how he got 543 upvotes on Hacker News and what that meant for his website traffic. But first, here's today's episode.
This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per talk.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination.
We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka. Hello, everybody. My guest today is Steve Olsher. He's the chairman and founder of liquor.com. Talk about a good domain name, right? He's a New York Times best-selling author of What is Your What? Discover the one amazing thing you were born to do. He's also host of the #1 rated radio show, Reinvention Radio, international keynote speaker, and creator of the New Media Summit. Steve, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, my man. Thanks for having me on again.
You bet. Yeah. So I had you on about a year ago. That was episode nathanlatka.com/the top 342. You broke down your advance on your best-selling book, how you made money, all that stuff. We also talked briefly about liquor.com. That was obviously a huge domain name. Update me on that business. I think you were trying to sell it, right?
Yeah. So we ended up bringing in an investment banking group to help us try to solicit offers, and we're still actually in that process right now. So I can't say where we're at, whether we'll get the number that we want or if we'll just keep pressing along. But I can tell you that revenue is just crushing right now. So if we don't get the right number, right now it's all ad revenue, but we'll be moving into different monetization strategies here towards the third, fourth quarter of this year.
And what's monthly impressions currently?
We're about 3 million or so monthly impressions right now for the site.
Got it. Very cool. And you said revenue's crushing it. What do you take to the bottom line on average?
Nothing to the bottom line. I mean, because everything goes back into the business. This is not, we're not looking at it from the standpoint of let's pay dividends to shareholders, that sort of thing. I mean, it all goes back in. But
cut out
right
all the
now,
variable expenses. What's your gross margin?
Yeah, I think at this juncture, it depends on the month. I mean, obviously the holiday season, fourth quarter is going to be a crazier time for us because so many of the brands want to push into getting visibility on that. But it honestly varies from, shall we just say, high 5 figures to a solid 6-figure type month.
Got it. So, call it a good month is you're doing $100,000 per month in ad revenue.
No. We do much better than that. I'm just saying in terms of, I thought you were talking about in terms of net.
Oh, got it. Net margin to the bottom line. You'll take $100,000 to the bottom line sometimes and then reinvest it.
Exactly.
Got it. Very cool. I was going to say that's actually not a lot for that kind of traffic. Interesting. And why do you, so obviously don't get into numbers that will get you in trouble. By the way, those IBs, I bet never sell it. They're so, I've met so many of these people and they're like, I'm like, what's going on up here? Nothing's happening. But anyway, look, some are great. Some are great. Some of those investment bankers listening, I love you too. Some of you guys are great. But Steve, how do you value a company like this? Is it based off EBITDA typically or top line?
I wish that it was based on the metrics that really matter, because in the right hands, I mean, look, we've got almost 2 million subscribers on the database. Almost 36 million people come to the site every. I mean,
what's your average open rate on that email that you'd send to that database?
It varies from low teens, like 10, 11%, up to, depending on the promotion, it can get up into the high teens and even sometimes into the 20s.
So call it 2 million sends on a worst case email. You'll get 200,000 opens, and how many clicks on average?
Yeah, somewhere around there. And of course, that varies based on I mean, this game and the subject line and topic, the whole
I'm just
nine.
looking at ranges though. I mean, so one email blast, you're going to generate what, 20,000 clicks to whatever you're marketing, 50,000, what?
Again, really, really depends. If it's a contest, people seem to really dig on those things. If it's a new product, obviously you're going to be more of a sniper type approach than a shotgun approach with that. So sometimes, I mean, sure, on the bigger promotions, things that really have a more widespread appeal, sure, you could be looking at 10, 20,000 clicks for all day long.
So that's liquor.com. We talked about your book already in episode 342. A summit. People always tell me, Nathan, don't do a conference. You got to put down a huge payment for the freaking venue. That's like sometimes it's 6 figures. And then you have no idea if you're going to get the speakers you want. You have no idea if they're going to try and charge you $30,000 to speak. You have no idea how many tickets are going to sell. Steve, why the hell are you getting into the conference business?
I've actually been in the business of doing events for a long time. I opened my own nightclub, man, when I was 19.
Are you party animal?
Ask my wife.
Look
no,
at this
not
smile.
at all.
Where'd you meet her?
Right.
Was it at a bar?
No, we worked in the same office building, and her office had a glass door, and every time I would walk by her office to get to mine, I would be like, if I could see her, I'd be like, damn, who's that? And that's kind of how it all stared. And I just started putting the word with the coworkers, and anyway, that's how we met in the office building.
Did you ever? There. What was like? Did you? I mean, because you're like a copy guy too, right? What
20
was like,
years this year, by the way. July will be 20 years.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
With kids.
How many kids?
We got 3 boys.
Wow, that's great. Okay, do you remember what your first line was to her? Like, what the first thing was you said to try and get her attention?
I can tell you exactly what it was, because she had gotten some of our mail in their office, and her coworkers were like, take the mail down, because it was just my mom and myself and a few other people that were working in our office. This was the sort of the origin story of liquor.com, right? It was liquor by wire back at that point. There was 5 of us working in this room, so it was just basically like a boiler room, walk in. So she walked in with the mail, and nobody else was there for whatever, it was lunch or whatever, and I'm on the phone. And so she walks in, she's standing there with the mail, and I'm just like, hold on. Like, that was the first thing, and it took me like 10 minutes playing hard to get to me like 10 minutes to get off the phone. She left. I finally had to go back and go, and say, hey, I'm so sorry about that. So it gave me it was like a hard to get thing. And then, hey, I'm so sorry. So, it was, it worked out that way.
Talk about closing that deal. Total customer lifetime value, 20 years and 3 babies. All right. In all seriousness, though, talk to me more about the New Media Summit.
Yeah, man. So we're doing something called the New Media Summit. Now, I've been doing live events for a number of years. We did Internet Profits, PROPHETS, Internet Profits Live for a few years between 2012 and 2015. And in that case, exactly what you're talking about, man. We had it was a multi-speaker event. We had people like, Mike Vilsain, Lewis Howes, Mario Brown, Russell Brunson. I mean, you name it. We've had like 60 speakers at that event over the years. But this event really is very, very different because, well, you're in this space, man, and you can appreciate the power of the platform and really having the ability to push a button and make stuff happen.
Steve, real quick, while you're telling the story, what is the link so if people want to follow along?
Oh, for sure, man. newmediasummit.net. So newmediasummit.net.
Okay, got it.
And when you hit that, it's going to play this big loud video. So just keep that in mind, guys, as you go there. But yeah, the idea here is, how do you connect with people who have these high visibility platforms? Because as you know, influencer marketing, I mean, it's certainly one of the hottest trends on the planet right now, if you haven't gotten that memo. And the reality is, if you can connect with people who have already done the groundwork for you, and they have the time and the energy and the resources invested into creating an audience and a following and so on, how cool would it be to actually end up on their show and to leverage the efforts that they've already put forward? And so that's the idea of the summit, is we're really bringing in icons of influencers, we're calling them, who have high visibility platforms, and giving folks the opportunity to meet with them, talk about who they are, what they do, and leave the event literally with bookings in hand. So it's kind of one fell swoop.
Yeah, this is interesting. I see what you've done here. So I'm on the newmediasummit.com. I've scrolled down.
.net, but yes.
.net, sorry,
.net. I did not want to pay for that domain. I was like, come on,
what
man.
They want for it?
Like $10,000. I was like, no, dude, I'll just do .net. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, I see what you've done here. So you have basically curated people. These all look like podcasters, actually. Is that right?
Yeah, there's podcasters and a few bloggers, but mostly podcasters.
Yeah, so we're talking like Jay Wong, the Interchange Maker, Michael Neal, Solopreneur Hour, Joel Blog. I mean, tons of people on here. Thrive. Yeah. What are they getting out of this?
So it's interesting. From an icon standpoint, there's 2 things. Number one, the people that we have are really folks who understand the value of teaching and they absolutely love to share their knowledge. So these people don't feel like they're doing the audience a favor, right, by being there. They love to teach. It's in their bones. It's in their heart.
So you're not paying any of these folks to come speak. You got them all to come for free.
Correct. We will take care of their hotel. We'll take care of their meals. We'll take good care of them while they're there.
Yeah.
And so it's twofold for them. Number one, the people who are attending, and we're keeping it to a more intimate event, just 150 attendees so that everybody has an opportunity to connect with the icons.
Okay.
But so because those people will be investing to attend, it's really good lead generation for them. So they'll have an opportunity to develop relationships over those days with them and potentially enroll them in their products, programs, or services. So there's that side of the coin. The other side of the coin is we're going to be doing an influencer-only mastermind on the last day. And so that'll give them an opportunity to connect with one another, deepen those relationships, find guests for their programs and become guests on other shows, et cetera, and really share best practices and so on. So that's why an influencer would come to this, is not only to find leads and share their brilliance, but also to connect with other icons that they may not know.
I'm expecting this number to be like 0. So I want you to feel totally comfortable telling me whatever it is. How many tickets have you sold so far? The event's coming up in what, late September, right?
It's come up in late September, and so there are two ways that people are getting tickets to this event. Some are paying full boat, which right now we're in super early bird, so September 22nd through the 24th in San Diego. So we're super early bird right now. It's $4,997 to come to this event, meet with the icons, leave with bookings in hand. Again, take care of all your PR, really, if you will, in one fell swoop. And so at this point, we just started marketing. We sold our first 2 super early bird tickets right now, and literally we just started. But there are other people who have invested in my products, programs, or services, and have also then paid the seat deposit, if you will, to be there, of which there's about another 40 or so that have done that. So at a minimum, people will be in for about $1,300 if they come in through one of my products, programs, or services, and then end up with the seat deposit or the full price tickets. So at this point, we're sitting at about a third of the way to where we want to be. Again, 150 total.
This is, Steve, such a smart way to do it, because when I talk to a lot of conference organizers, here's what they worry about. They want to charge a high ticket price. That's how you make money. But they're very worried about bringing in these icons to speak, and the icons looking out from stage and seeing half the room empty. So you have to almost have 2 strategies. Yours, it sounds like you've got a revenue expansion kind of upsell to your current customers to make sure the room gets filled, right? And you can adjust that price because it's behind the scenes. You then have your regular price for people maybe just finding this to bring them in. Is that a tactic that's intentional, and does it work how I just articulated?
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to think about it. I mean, certainly from our standpoint, and having done events now for years, the worst thing you can do, and I speak at a lot of events. As a matter of fact, part of my revenue model is I actually buy stage time. So if you have an event and you know that people are going to, be there and be interested potentially in my products, programs, or services, talk to me. I will buy stage time.
How much would you pay for an event that's highly curated of all entrepreneurs and let's say just 100 people?
I would easily pay $10,000 for that.
Got it. Interesting.
Really?
And what for? What, 30 minutes, an hour? What?
Typically, I try to get anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes for that. But yeah, $100 a head is a pretty safe bet. So I mean, if you've got a 300 person event, you could easily be charging somebody $30,000 to speak on that stage.
Yep.
The assumption being, of course, that there is a return.
Content.
Well, not only good content, and of course, it's it's going to add value for the people in attendance, but also that you then have you've got to have a plan of action. I mean, you've got to have a revenue model to be able to recoup. So as long
what do
as
you do? What's the sales sound like on stage? You have to recoup that money somehow. What does it sound like?
Yeah. So for me, what I will typically do is if it's an audience of coaches or authors or speakers or solopreneurs or online marketers, holistic practitioners, those sort of things, people who are really just, for the lack of a better term, they're kind of one man, one woman type shows, right? I mean, those are the majority of the people that'll be in the audience for the events that I speak at. It's not like somebody from GE coming into the audience and sitting there, on behalf of their corporation, right? These are people who are the decision makers for their companies. What I will be selling then is what I call push button influence, which is the training that we created that teaches people how to gain massive visibility at virtually no cost, leveraging the power of new media. And so that's a beautiful, what really works out well is with that training, the way to make it work really, really well for them is to give them a ticket to the New Media Summit, right? Because then not only do they come and they learn how to leverage the power of new media, but the ability to actually connect with the icons of influence who are looking for guests for their show, right? So it's a perfect 1-2.
How do you, when you're on stage, because how do you make sure that the audience members then don't go tell the host, oh, that Steve guy, he all he did was sell on stage. I'm not coming back to this conference next time.
Yeah. It's a great question. And reality is there are some events that, frankly, you don't ever want to come back to because it's all they are pitch fests. I don't speak at events where I'm, one of 10 people selling.
Yep.
Right. So for me, it's 45. If it's an hour, it's 45 minutes of just serious value add content and 15 minutes on the pitch. So they'll leave with 2-3 pages of notes, and they can go and they can apply this stuff to their business immediately. They don't need me to do it. But if they choose to go to that next level with me, then there's, of course, that option as well.
What's the call to action? You're almost at your end of your 60 minutes. You're on stage. The bright lights are on you. You're sweating a little bit because it's hot up there. The timer's counting down. There's about 60 seconds left. What's the call to action you're giving to the audience? Yeah,
the call to action is to enroll in the Push Button Influence training, and then it includes just a ton of bonuses.
Well, what's the link? Literally, is there a slide that says go to here? What's the call to action?
No, dude. We'll do it right then there, back of room, just with the order form, and they'll take that. And if they sign up on that day, then they'll get the bonuses, which include building their own podcast channel, doing a media one sheet for them, giving them a ticket to the event, and so on. There's just a ton of bonuses that they only get if they sign up then and there at the event.
So put up the finale slide with the bonuses on it. Guys, my name's Steve Olsher. If you enjoyed me today, I'll see you at the back of the room. We'll be there for as long as these things are available. We've got 10 of them. You get all the bonuses. Once they're gone, they're gone. You can get up now and go back. There are 3 people start to get up that maybe you put there because you knew they were good sales. 5 people, 10 people follow. You have a big line. Boom. That's how it works.
That sounds a little snake oil salesy.
Steve,
but
that's how it works.
It's not exactly how it works. I mean, I'm a little more low key. It's just hey, if you enjoyed this and you want to go to that next level, then let's chat.
All right, very good. Let's go back to focus on New Media Summit. So, okay, so we talked about what people are getting. We talked about the price point. We talked about the speakers. What do you put down for the venue?
The venue is expensive, man. I'm not going to lie. Just like you said,
$100,000.
Well, all in, it'll be $100,000 for the venue, no doubt. And then when you take into consideration the AV and the event management and everything else that goes into it, the marketing and so on, you're probably looking, for most events of this nature, $150K all day long. And that's being, I think, fairly safe, $150K.
Will you break even or you make money on this?
So, well, no. We only do this if we make money, right? Yeah. So the plan is
Steve. I love you.
Well, the sponsors.
People, Nathan, I care about the good of the world, and we're gonna break even because I'm passionate. Bullshit. Make money.
No, look, there's that too. But no, look, you're in business, and if you're not in business to make money, you'll soon be out of business, right? That's just the nature of the game, man. So, no, we've got sponsors, right? And we've got the pre-ticket sales. So the hope is we have all of our costs covered by the time people come to the event, right? So that's strategy number 1, is to have everything covered by the time the doors open to the event. Number 2 then is there will be products, programs, services, coaching, those sort of things that will be offered at the event if people want to actually. The pitch is pretty simple to the attendees, which is, hey, you've met these icons, you see what they've done, you've seen how they've really been able to build a platform and make themselves and their guests famous with the push of a button. If you want to be an icon on this stage next year, then here's how I can help you make that happen, right? And so it's a pretty simple pitch of, if you want to create your own platform, let's work together.
I know you guys enjoy listening to every episode each morning, but what if there was an easy way for you to get all of the data I capture on my podcast in a very simple Excel-like format where you just go there, you view it, you sort all the companies by revenue or CAC or ARPU or lifetime value or churn or gross margin or valuation, whatever you want. You can now get it. I spent $25,000 to build a beautiful piece of website. Okay, that's what we'll call it, a beautiful piece of website. It's getlatka.com. GETLATKA.com. Now, here's the deal. This data is super valuable. I think Mattermark, CB Insights, PitchBook, they do a great job with data, but they don't tell you revenue and customer counts and revenue per employee and gross margin. This is stuff I have that nobody else has because I've done the interviews. If you want to be and get an advantage, I'm only giving it to 10 new people every month. 10 people. So if you're hearing this now, you're probably one of the first. Go to getlatka.com and sign up immediately. It's free to use, free to check out, but it's a great resource. I'm only giving it to 10 people every month so that it's a real advantage. If I give it to everybody, it's not an advantage anymore. So only 10. Go to getlatka.com for the top 200 B2B SaaS companies and all the data laid right there for you to study, analyze, interpret, and get an unfair advantage. That's GETLATKA.com. Steve, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Favorite business book. It's interesting. I would have said Guerrilla Marketing, which I actually think I said the last time, but now I really enjoy Chris Gillible's The $100 Startup. I reread that now for the second time, and I really like The $100 Startup. It's really good.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
I will say that I like the moonshot approach, and there's a lot of folks who will say Elon Musk in that space, but I actually like a guy who runs a group by the name of Archangel. His name is Giovanni Marisco, and I actually like what Giovanni is doing there, very much so.
Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have, like Acuity Scheduling?
Not like Acuity Scheduling, but because I'm in this space, I'm a big fan of being able to repurpose content, which I know you can appreciate as well.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, Hani Mora, created something called repurpose.io. And I'm happy. No affiliate link necessary. Just check out what Hani's doing there, and it's pretty cool.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
When I'm high, at least 9. If I'm not, then certainly 7 to 8.
You smoke weed always before you go to bed?
I've smoked pretty consistently, for the last 4 or 5 years. Oh, yeah, man, it's a charm, like a charm.
Fast. Do you smoke before you go on stage?
No, never during the day, and never when the kids are awake.
Let's wrap up here. What's your current situation? Married, single, and then how many kids do you have?
Yeah, no, as I said, man, 20 years this year in July, and yeah, we got 3 boys.
3 little ones. How old? What's the oldest?
Well, the oldest is actually pretty old because my wife had a son when she was 14.
Oh my gosh!
So he's a big boy, and then we've got a 13 and a 10-year-old.
Okay, and what's your current age?
I'm 47.
47. That's a weird question. Your age is always current, right? Okay, so 47. Take us back 27 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh wow. I wish that I would have trusted myself more to really just say, hey, you don't need outside people to help you do things. You just got to figure this out yourself, and you can make it through. And stop signing away your rights to things, man, and just make it happen.
There you guys have it from Steve Olsher. He's gotten his best customer lifetime value return on his wife. 20 years married, 3 kids. Again, this was many years ago. He founded liquor.com, or really kind of pivoted to liquor.com. They're doing taking on a good month $100,000 to the bottom line, 3 million impressions per month. They're really doing better during the holiday season. Potentially selling right now, maybe at a good deal, maybe holding on to it because it's making them money. He's also gotten into a book which you want to check out. We'll link to that in the show notes. And then additionally, again, check out newmediasummit.net. Newmediasummit.net. He's got icons on stage. This is great if you're trying to do a big podcast tour. You can meet all these folks in one spot. Steve, thank you for taking us to the top.
Yeah, man.
If you enjoyed Steve today, go back and listen to Steven Goss yesterday. We asked the simple question, is question-based advertising the future? Well, 40 million sales does not lie, folks.